The making of Miss Margy is brought to you by Shepler's and Moran Iron Works.
It's a culmination of some dreams, some ambitions.
When you tackle something like that for millions of dollars, almost $4 million bucks, that is a big gamble for your client.
Snow's flying the whole time that, sparks are flying.
Built in Michigan, for Michigan, by Michigan.
So it's a beautiful day. Let's start the engines and let's go to Mackinac.
And we're heading home with our boat. It's just a great, great feeling.
Gentlemen, and welcome to Shepler's. We're pleased to announce the 10:30 departure going to Mackinac Island aboard the Captain Shepler. All aboard the Cap.
It's another summer day on the Shepler's Mackinac City dock. What looks like a smooth operation is actually choreographed chaos.
As confusing as it is, or as it looks, everyone's got a purpose, everyone's got a direction.
Parking, ticketing, boarding passengers, loading their luggage, bikes, and strollers, not to mention getting them all to and from Mackinac Island safely, with a smile. It's a big job, with a fast pace, one that the Shepler family's been doing for decades.
Every year there's something that we try to improve on in regards to making things run just a little bit smoother.
In the last few years, they've been talking more about the need for another ferry.
Not only do our boats get full, our docks get full. So with that being said, the more that we can put them on the boat and get them off of the dock, the better it is for the dock environment as well.
And not just any new ferry, one that's fast and big. Miss Margy, a new Shepler Mackinac Island ferry born out of necessity, brought to life in Michigan, and making one of the state's top destinations even better.
We'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for choosing Shepler's as your Mackinac Island transportation, and have a wonderful time on Mackinac Island.
The economic impact is the full $3.8 million. Instead of even a portion of that going outside this community, it's all staying right here.
A moment decades in the making. The next Mackinac Island ferry will be more than a boat. The Miss Margy brings together two northern Michigan family businesses on a mission. Shepler's Mackinac Island Ferry.
I felt that the ferry ride to and from the island is part of that experience.
And Moran Iron Works.
Part of it is having your head aligned with your heart. And that happens here. I like doing things. I like being creative. I like solving problems and being of value for my clients.
A partnership that means when these piles of raw aluminum become the Miss Margy cruising around the Straits of Mackinac, it will be the culmination of hard work and a vision born in northern Michigan.
My dad had a license, full captain's license, which means he could take any ship on the Great Lakes and connecting tributaries and the length or any tonnage and be the captain. It was quite a license, and he didn't get it by going to school. He got it on the job training, which was tough.
Bill Shepler's father worked on the water, captain of private yachts and coal-carrying freighters. When World War II ended, he saw the pent-up demand to visit Mackinac Island and started running a speedboat service from Mackinac City.
A couple years later, Herb Feiffelman on the island had a 30-foot hacker. He sold out, and my dad bought the boat. So I got my license. So Dad and I are driving charter boats at night.
By 1950, the father and son team upgraded to cabin cruisers. The first christened the Miss Margy, after Captain Shepler's wife, Margaret. The Shepler family business was thriving, on its way to the service you see today.
And then from there, we had to make a jump. Things were starting to happen for our company, and we made a jump with the motor vessel Welcome, built in '69, Felicity, '72, the Hope, '76, '78, the Wyandotte, which is what we're standing on now, and then the Captain Shepler in the early '80s. So fleet of 5, and then we have 1 freight boat.
But these days, the fleet struggles to keep up with demand.
We have difficulties with the 9, 10, 11, and 12 departures. So we need to put every boat that we have into service, and we do. Our lighthouse cruise venue has grown, so now we have to use a boat for that. So it gets to the point now is that you got to start nickel and diamond people to be able to do everything, and it's not fair to the customer.
There were a lot of tough discussions about, are we going to go ahead and put ourselves out there at $3.8 million when maybe we should wait 1 more year. And it came to the point where we need to do this, and we need to do it now.
And when they had to decide where to begin the next era for their company, Sheplers knew where to turn.
We say it was founded in 1978. That's the year I graduated, but I worked part-time out of a garage and worked for my father in the lumbering business.
Moran Iron Works in Onaway is the result of Tom Moran's passion for working with his hands, discovering welding at a young age.
I convinced my high school shop teacher, who was a fantastic woodworker, a craftsman, asked him if I could use the metalworking equipment, and he let me, as long as you do something I could grade you on. So I started off welding desks and chairs from study hall in high school.
A welding business that graduated from a rented building to an ironworks in a massive complex built on a dairy pasture. Inside, a crew of 130 workers. Moran's earned a certain reputation.
When you tackle something like that for millions of dollars, almost $4 million bucks, that's a big gamble when you start from scratch and you want a ferry that you can twist the key and head to Mackinac Island for decades, you know, not just a couple of years. So for us, it's a huge compliment.
Tom Moran is getting to work at 4:30 a.m. as usual, getting another day started and putting his reputation to the test, building a new 281-passenger, 86-foot boat for Sheplers. Every day checking for cleanliness and safety issues before his crews arrive, Moran is preparing for not 1 but 3 daily morning meetings focusing on teamwork and safety.
This place can kill you 1,000 ways, and a lot of them don't even know it. Safety is one of those things that you know, these people, they're producers, they're more concerned about you know, getting the weld done, getting the project out the door. You really have to do that on a daily basis. I've found that monthly safety meetings, people forget what the word even means.
Next door is the big job, building Shepler's new ferry. You realize how big of an undertaking it is when you see the pile of raw aluminum brought in January. This jigsaw puzzle will become the Miss Margy, with features never seen on a Mackinac Island ferry.
And this Shepler's vessel is a very unique one. You know, not only 3-engine design, but climate control.
Not just any welder can do this job. It turns out aluminum is very different than steel.
Well, it takes a special craftsman or a special touch.
Every team's a little different, and this team has been specially chosen for this project because of their abilities and talents.
Starting from the center, the team follows the drawings for the skeleton of the boat.
One piece alone is very flimsy and almost like a noodle-like. But as components gain on each other, that's where its strength comes from, is from its design.
Several weeks in, and the progress is amazing. Constant additions to the keel and bulkhead. The Miss Margy's growing exponentially.
You'll see a skeleton, you'll see ribs, and then those ribs tied together, and then that tied together, so you end up with a skeleton. And then you'll start to see the hull laid against it, and at the same time we're building the fuel tanks, the sewage tanks.
Actually, this may not look like it's close to being done, but the man hours and the effort that went into the beginning and then the hull, the rest of the stuff's going to be pretty easy.
This time-lapse video makes it look easy. But remember, the crew at Moran Iron Works is taking raw aluminum and welding a one-of-a-kind watercraft.
A tremendous amount of skeletal work or structural work. And the guys did a fantastic job of it. Just like any project, the most important time is crunch time.
Here's the Miss Margy getting her engines. Each of these weighs 9,000 pounds. The transmissions, another 3,000 pounds each. Everything has to line up just right. Precision that takes weeks of work.
We first set the engines about a month and a half ago, and just here in the last couple of days have got everything all true and nice and straight and in line and ready to run. So it's a big process.
As crews at Moran Iron Works complete their work, Shepler's crews are working to give this ferry its finishing touches.
Well, there's a lot more than just engines. There's a generator set, which is a very independent power group, ducting, heating, air conditioning, electrical, that's very complex.
It seems like just yesterday the Miss Margy had nothing more than a plan and piles of aluminum.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, especially on the Great Lakes. Snow's flying the whole time that, sparks are flying, so it's a pretty cool thing to watch, especially, when we're in the shop, and to see it launch in the summertime will be really, really cool.
I remember as a little kid bringing up our most recent boat, which was built in 1986, up through the Mississippi River with my grandfather and my father, and remembering the times when we came under the bridge and the rest of our fleet came along and met up with us, and how proud my grandpa was, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with my father.
And everyone focused on July 12th. Miss Margy must be done on that day for her christening. Even Governor Snyder slated to attend.
It's going to be a proud week. Built in Michigan, for Michigan, by Michigan, and I'd go in my backyard and go for a ride. Take the family to see it, and it's going to be a proud week.
Hey, you guys all good?
I'm good over here, ready to go. Yep, I'm all good too.
This is one of the near final steps here to Miss Margy's journey.
Late May sunshine hitting the hull for the first time. It's delivery day for Miss Margy, leaving the Moran Iron Works building where she was born.
Well, it's a culmination of some dreams, some ambitions, and some needs that we have to satisfy.
When it rolled out of the building there, I almost started crying, for crying all out. It was that exciting for me.
You can't haul an 85-foot, 70-ton boat like just any cabin cruiser. This thing requires a well-planned route, the right equipment, and the right people.
The way Moran Iron Works works, they look at things like that, and it's quite an easy task for them. Looking at it from my perspective, it's like trying to move Mount Everest.
It's extreme size, but the truth is it went very smooth. It was flawless as far as the way the guys loaded it.
But a move this big is going to have its speed bumps.
Okay.
Maybe it was the adrenaline. A little speed may have blown a tire. What would be a big setback for most people was a 1-hour delay for the Moran crew. Miss Margy was on the road again. Port Calcite, Rogers City. The boat that everyone is anxious to see in the water has to hang out a little longer. Everything has to be just right. And for luck, the makeshift christening, not champagne, but Miller Lite.
Ready? That's fantastic. My mom should be pointing her finger at us now, putting beer on her bow.
The moment of truth after years of planning and work.
I hope it floats.
A crane lowering Miss Margy into the Lake Huron water that will be her home. This boat is already living up to her name.
And of course, it's only fitting that we name this super carrier, and that's what she's going to be, a super carrier, after my mom, because she was a super carrier all by herself. She was a real tiger. So it's a beautiful day. Let's start the engines and let's go to Mackinac.
We're free, buddy.
Heading to her home port.
You only get one shot at it.
After dark.
But right now, we're moving, and that's all that matters.
After a long day.
It doesn't matter that it's midnight, and it doesn't matter that we don't have any windows in the boat. It just feels so good to be where we are right now heading home with our new boat. It's fantastic. I can't describe the feeling.
But the most exciting part for me was about, I'd say we were about 10 miles outside of Mackinac City. It's 1:30 in the morning, and Billy had called me and told me that he had just got permission from the manufacturer of the engine, our rep, from W.W. Williams, that we could, you know, give her the berries. And that means full throttle.
She's just solid. I wanted to do it right from Rogers City, but they wouldn't let me. So I had to be patient, and I'm not a patient man.
So that was pretty cool to see that capability come true, because it's all on paper, but you never know if paper transfers over to real life. And we saw that translation very quickly, which made us all extremely happy.
With only a few minor glitches, this new Mackinac Island ferry hit the water cruising, fast and smooth, in the dark, pulling into Mackinac City and joining the family.
I think that the moment as a family really hit when the boat got to the dock, and so we blew a salute. And I was on the welcome, blew one back, and that, you know, brings a tear to your eye, really, and it did.
Wait till you see her from outside, man. She looks so good.
And then the big moment was when everyone came off the boat, and we were all there together, out just on the outside on the dock next to the Miss Margy.
Congratulations, Dad. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't do a damn thing. Congratulations, you guys.
And it was cool from the perspective that we know that our grandmother, who's the boat was named after, was looking down on us and got us back to Mackinac City safely, and we're ready for the next chapter, which should happen here shortly.
We didn't do much today. We'll give her hell tomorrow.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
It's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling.
Absolutely.
It's a good feeling to have this boat here.
Yeah.
It's time for Miss Margy to meet the public. The July christening in Mackinac City is a celebration for those in attendance, including a very proud Michigan governor.
The reason I'm really excited to be here today is this represents the best of Michigan. This is more than just a single event. This is how Michiganders can make special things happen.
Months of hard work, years of planning, and decades of Shepler's family history on display.
The finishing work on this Miss Margy is being done a mere 100 feet away from where the first Miss Margy was built.
None of it lost on MC Paul W. Smith from WJR Radio.
The first Miss Margy carried 24 people. The new Miss Margy transports 281.
You can't help the comparisons. The new boat named after Bill Shepler's mother, providing a moment to think about how this all began.
So these two, my mom and my dad, they had the vision, but I don't know if they really knew where it was all going to go, where it was all going to end up. I mean, I just wish they were here. I know they're here in spirit, but they are the godfathers of this whole thing. I'm just a follower.
Anticipation building for the chance to get Miss Margy off to a great start.
To all the sailors that came before us, to the captains that will pilot Miss Margy into the tough waters of the Great Lakes, to Sheplers and another 70 years of family service. To Miss Margy.
Sure, it's a celebration, but the christening is also a blessing for the new ferry boat, the smashing tradition that sacrifices a perfectly good bottle of champagne.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, this was my first christening for a ship, and this was wonderful. And it's exciting to see. I'm looking forward to seeing it in the water and going on a cruise, going over to Mackinac Island on it soon.
Miss Margy isn't going right into service. She still needs more work to be ready for the Mackinac Island crowds. But while that's being done, a realization of what this new era of ferry service represents for Michigan.
It's not just about the boat itself or the ship. It's about the people working on that ship and the great customer service and the warmth you feel. because that's what's going to keep people coming to Michigan over and over again, and we're only going to keep growing tourism in Michigan because of things like this.
August 26th. Once again, Miss Margy is on the move, and again, it's on land before the newly painted vessel can be lowered into the lake. Slowly, carefully lifted by a travel lift, nearly 70 tons suspended in the air, and no room for error.
That process is something we've been doing for many, many, many years. It's a little frightening for the operator because it's a brand new boat, it's freshly painted, all these people are watching.
Charlie, our head mechanic, was driving the travel lift this morning, and he had 68 ton under his command. The heavier the boat, the more tenacious it gets, the more you sweat under your armpits.
This move is flawless, and the ultimate goal achieved, getting Miss Margy in the water, with an impromptu crowd gathering to see it happen. The launch is a moment the Sheplers want to share.
At or around 11:45, from right now, 11:45, we'll load up the Hope. That'll be the chase boat.
People following along with their cameras as Miss Margy makes the first runs that she'll get very used to doing. And the first moments on the water did not disappoint.
That when the Miss Margy was put in the water this morning, I noticed the Cap Shepler wanted to come over and see her. That's my dad.
My dad made a comment at the christening about now they're both back together. The Miss Margy and Cap Shepler are both back in the water, working together to, you know, create dreams and create experiences for our guests going to and from Mackinac Island. So that hits home. That gets a little emotional when you start thinking about, you know, my grandfather and grandmother back together again out on the Straits of Mackinac. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about today when we were all together.
I'd like to get into the ramp on the island. I'd like to get into the ramp in St. Ignace, and then we'll bring her on back and see how she does in ramp 1.
First stop, St. Ignace, the Hope following along. At the dock, the crew's looking to see if everything lines up the way it's meant to, being very careful to not leave a scratch.
We were also measuring ramps to see that our ramps matched. And we were just amazed. We thought through our calculations that we're going to have a real problem, but we didn't.
On to Mackinac Island, a first visit with island icons like the Grand Hotel in the background, saying welcome to Miss Margy, and many salutes along the way. Bill and Billy Shepler at the helm, both caught up in the excitement of this day.
Dream come true. I know that my mom was upstairs. She was hollering and screaming and kicking and doing all the good stuff.
On the island, a quick relabeling job at the dock. Miss Margy claiming a mooring bollard. Everything looks and feels right with this boat, but she's not quite ready for paying passengers. The Coast Guard has the final say. Sheplers must wait on a certification that could come any day, any time now. The moment she is certified, Michigan-made Miss Margy will officially become the crown jewel of a family fleet, generations in the making.
It's been 70 years of fun, a great experience, and hell, we just scratched the surface as far as I'm concerned. We're on our way.